Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you have to make a choice, either to live by the expectations set by others or to carve your own path unapologetically and courageously. Today, I want to talk about something that has the power to change your life forever: focusing on yourself. We live in a world where everyone has an opinion about who we should be. Society tells us what success looks like, what happiness means, and even what is acceptable for us to dream about. But here's a question. When was the last time you listened to yourself? Self-discovery is the foundation of personal growth and transformation. It is the process of truly understanding who you are, what you desire, and where you want to go in life. The challenge is that most people never take the time to pause and reflect on their inner self. They live according to external expectations, following paths set by family, society, or circumstances, without ever questioning whether those paths align with their own aspirations. To begin the journey of self-discovery, one must be willing to ask deep and sometimes uncomfortable questions. Who am I beyond my name, my profession, or my societal labels? What are my strengths, and how can I utilize them to create a meaningful life? What are my weaknesses, and how can I improve them instead of allowing them to define me? These questions are not always easy to answer, but they are essential. The more honest you are with yourself, the more clarity you will gain. One of the biggest obstacles in self-discovery is the fear of acknowledging one's own truth. Many people suppress their desires, dreams, and even their struggles because they are afraid of what others might think. However, real growth happens when you embrace your true self, even if it means going against what is expected of you. The world will always have opinions about who you should be, but at the end of the day, the only voice that truly matters is your own. Self-discovery is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing journey. As you evolve, so will your understanding of yourself. This means you must constantly check in with yourself, reassess your goals, and be open to change. Sometimes the things you once thought were important may no longer serve you, and that's okay. Growth requires letting go of what no longer aligns with your true self. One of the best ways to deepen self-awareness is through solitude. In a world filled with distractions, taking time to be alone with your thoughts can be incredibly powerful. Whether through journaling, meditation, or simply sitting in silence, solitude allows you to listen to your inner voice without the noise of the outside world. It is in these quiet moments that true clarity emerges. Another crucial aspect of self-discovery is learning to trust yourself. Society often teaches us to seek validation from others, but true confidence comes from within. The more you trust your decisions, even when they go against conventional wisdom, the stronger you become. You must believe that you are capable of creating the life you desire, even when others do not see your vision. Self-discovery is about living authentically. When you truly know yourself, you no longer feel the need to fit into predefined molds. You stop living for approval and start living with purpose. And when you focus on this journey of self-understanding, you naturally begin to grow into the person you were always meant to be. The world is filled with noise, constant opinions, judgments, and expectations from society, family, friends, and even strangers. From a young age, we are conditioned to seek validation from others. We are told what success should look like, what dreams are practical, and what kind of life is considered acceptable. But the truth is, if you allow the noise of the world to dictate your path, you will never truly discover your own potential. Focusing on yourself requires the courage to silence this external noise. It means understanding that not everyone will agree with your choices, and that is perfectly fine. The biggest mistake people make is allowing the doubts and negativity of others to influence their decisions. Imagine how many dreams have been abandoned simply because someone said, "You can't do this," or "That's not realistic." But here's an important realization. Most people who give you advice are speaking from their own limitations, not yours. Their doubts reflect their own fears, not your capabilities. You must first learn to filter the voices that enter your mind. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Ask yourself, is this advice coming from someone who has lived the kind of life I aspire to? If not, Why should their words define your journey? You are the one who has to live with your choices, so make sure they align with your own values and vision. One of the most effective ways to block out external negativity is by setting strong boundaries. People will always have opinions, but that does not mean you have to absorb them. When someone doubts your dreams, instead of defending yourself, simply let their words pass. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your ambition. Protect your mental space by surrounding yourself with people who uplift and encourage you, rather than those who bring negativity and discouragement. Another powerful tool in silencing the noise is self-belief. When you are truly confident in your own vision, the outside world cannot shake you. However, self-belief is not something that happens overnight. It is built through daily actions, small wins, and persistence in the face of challenges. Every time you prove to yourself that you are capable, your inner voice grows stronger, making the external noise irrelevant. It is also important to embrace solitude. In today's fast-paced world, people are rarely alone with their thoughts. They are constantly distracted by social media, news, and the opinions of others. But clarity comes in silence. Take time each day to disconnect from the external world and reconnect with yourself. Whether through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in stillness, solitude helps you hear your own thoughts clearly without interference. When you learn to silence the noise around you, you gain the freedom to live life on your own terms. You stop seeking validation and start making choices based on what truly matters to you. And in doing so, you will realize that the only approval you ever needed was your own. Motivation is often seen as the driving force behind success, but the reality is that motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like waves, sometimes pushing you forward with great energy and other times leaving you stranded with no desire to move. This is why relying on motivation alone is a mistake. True progress comes from consistency, showing up every single day, even when the excitement fades and even when challenges seem overwhelming. The problem with motivation is that it is based on emotions. When you feel inspired, it is easy to take action. But what happens on days when you are tired, discouraged, or faced with setbacks? If you rely solely on motivation, you will stop. You will wait for the next wave of inspiration before you take another step. This inconsistency is what prevents most people from achieving their goals. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It is discipline. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward even when motivation disappears. It is the habit of doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel in the moment. The greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders do not wake up every day feeling excited to work hard, but they have trained themselves to take action despite their emotion. They understand that success is built on small, consistent efforts, not on occasional bursts of motivation. You must create a routine that supports your goals. Routines remove the need to make decisions based on feelings. For example, if you want to become physically fit, do not wait until you feel like exercising. Set a schedule and stick to it no matter how you feel. If you want to learn a new skill, do not wait for the perfect moment to start. Commit to practicing every day, even if it is just for a few minutes. Over time, these small actions become habits, and habits shape your reality. Another key to consistency is setting realistic expectations. Many people give up because they expect instant results. When they don't see immediate progress, they lose motivation and quit. But real success takes time. Every big achievement is the result of countless small steps taken consistently over weeks, months, and years. If you focus on progress instead of perfection, you will stay committed even when the journey feels slow. It is also important to hold yourself accountable. Track your progress, set deadlines, and find ways to stay committed. Sometimes external accountability, such as a mentor, a coach, or a supportive friend, can help keep you on track. But ultimately, the responsibility lies with you. You have to decide that your dreams are worth the effort, even on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. When you prioritize consistency over motivation, you build unshakable discipline. You no longer depend on inspiration to take action. Instead, you become the kind of person who shows up, does the work, and keeps going, no matter what. And that is the key to achieving anything you set your mind to. And challenges are inevitable. No matter how well you plan or how hard you work, setbacks will come. You will experience failure, rejection, and moments of deep frustration. But here is the truth. Setbacks are not the end of the road. They are lessons, tests of resilience, and opportunities to grow stronger. The ability to rise after falling is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties. It is about facing them with strength and determination. Many people fear failure so much that they never take risks. They stay in their comfort zones, avoiding challenges because they don't want to experience disappointment. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. Every successful person has faced countless setbacks, but instead of letting those failures define them, they use them as stepping stones to move forward. One of the most important aspects of resilience is perspective. When something goes wrong, most people see it as a sign to quit. They think, maybe this isn't meant for me, or maybe I'm not good enough. But resilient people ask different questions. What can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? Instead of seeing failure as an ending, they see it as feedback. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and try again. Another key to resilience is emotional strength. When you face setbacks, it is natural to feel discouraged. You may experience doubt, frustration, or even anger. But the key is not to let these emotions control you. A setback does not define your worth or potential. It is simply a challenge to overcome. The way you respond to difficulties shapes your future. If you let setbacks break you, you will stay stuck. But if you use them as motivation to push harder, you will grow stronger than ever before. Building resilience also requires patience. In today's fast-paced world, people expect instant results. When things don't go as planned, they become frustrated and lose hope. But success takes time. The path to greatness is filled with ups and downs, and the people who achieve their goals are the ones who keep going despite the obstacles. They understand that every setback is temporary and that persistence leads to breakthroughs. It is also important to surround yourself with the right people. Resilience does not mean you have to fight every battle alone. Having a strong support system, friends, mentors, or family members who encourage you can make a huge difference. When you feel like giving up, the right people will remind you of your strength and push you to keep going. Resilience is about refusing to give up on yourself. It is about believing that no failure is permanent, that every challenge has a solution, and that setbacks are just setups for comebacks. If you keep going, no matter how hard things get, you will eventually reach your goals. And when you look back, you will realize that every obstacle you faced only made you stronger. One of the biggest mistakes people make in life is constantly comparing themselves to others. From a young age, society conditions us to measure our worth based on external validation, how successful we are compared to others, how much we have achieved in relation to our peers, and how our lives appear on the surface. This mindset is dangerous because it shifts the focus away from what truly matters: personal growth. Comparison is the thief of joy. No matter how much you achieve, there will always be someone who seems to be doing better, earning more, or achieving success fast. But their journey is not yours. Everyone starts from a different place, with different challenges, experiences, and opportunities. Comparing yourself to others is unfair because no two people walk the same path. The only person you should compete with is who you were yesterday. Personal growth is not about being the best compared to others. It is about being better than you were before. Instead of looking at someone else's progress, focus on your own small improvements every day. If you are even 1% better than yesterday, you are on the right path. These small improvements, when done consistently, compound over time and lead to extraordinary growth. One of the reasons people struggle with this mindset is because they tie their self-worth to external validation. They seek approval from others, whether through social media, career achievements, or personal accomplishments. But real fulfillment comes from within. When you stop seeking validation and start focusing on your own progress, you will find greater satisfaction in your journey. A powerful way to shift your mindset is by tracking your progress. Instead of comparing yourself to others, measure your own growth. Keep a journal, set personal milestones, and celebrate your small wins. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your health, or overcoming a personal fear, recognize how far you've come. These personal victories, no matter how small, are what truly defines success. Another important aspect of becoming your own competition is embracing failure as part of growth. When you compare yourself to others, failure can feel like a personal shortcoming. But when you focus on your own journey, failure becomes a lesson, not a setback. Every mistake teaches you something valuable and brings you closer to your goals. Instead of feeling discouraged by someone else's success, use it as motivation to keep improving yourself. Surrounding yourself with the right people also plays a huge role in this mindset. Be around those who inspire and support you, rather than those who make you feel like you're not enough. True growth happens in an environment where you feel encouraged to push your limits without the pressure of unhealthy competition. Your biggest competition is not the person next to you. It is the version of yourself from yesterday. If you commit to continuous self-improvement, you will realize that success is not about being better than others, but about becoming the best version of yourself. When you shift your focus inward, progress becomes natural and success follows effortlessly. The greatest journey you will ever take is the journey within. The world will always have expectations, distractions, and opinions, but none of that should define you. When you choose to focus on yourself, silence the noise, stay consistent, build resilience, and become your own competition, you unlock a power within you that no one can take away. Success is not about proving anything to others. It is about proving to yourself that you are capable of growth, strength, and transformation. It is about rising every time you fall, learning from every failure, and refusing to let temporary setbacks define your future. The moment you stop seeking validation and start working on becoming the best version of yourself, everything changes. They may question your journey, and they may not understand your vision, but that is not your concern. Your only focus should be on building a life that aligns with your purpose and values. And when you do that, when you truly dedicate yourself to growth, discipline, and perseverance, you won't need to prove anything to anyone. Your success will speak for itself. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop worrying about what others think. Stop holding yourself back. Focus on yourself. Put in the work, and one day, the world will look at you in awe, wondering how you did it. But by then, you won't even care, because you'll already be too busy chasing your next goal.